Welcome to The Exchange. I'm Peter Armstrong. On tonight's show, one of the world's largest shipping companies has gone bankrupt. It's left crew and cargo in limbo and could sink your holiday shopping plans. Plus, the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 is one of the world's hottest new phones. Literally. Apparently, a few of them have a troublesome new feature called exploding. And a burning issue of a different kind. Ottawa wants to wean our electrical grids off coal, and some provinces are pushing back. That's all ahead. But first, it's been exactly 1 month since Vancouver's new foreign home buyer tax came into effect, and we're seeing some of the first results of that experiment. Far fewer houses changed hands in August than the month before, and the average price of a detached home fell by nearly $300,000. Still, this test has a long way to go. Vancouver's Real Estate Board tracked a 23% drop in sales from July to August. It cautions that isn't unusual. In fact, it says sales are starting to get back to normal levels. The giant drop is because of a record-breaking start to the year. But that new foreign home buyer tax is believed to be adding to the slowdown. It could also be dragging down some prices. The average cost of a detached home fell nearly 17% from July to August, from about $1.7 million to $1.4 million. The president of the Real Estate Board isn't jumping to conclusions about the foreign home buyer tax, though. He said it'll take some months before we can really understand the impact of the new tax. For a first-hand perspective of what's happening in the Vancouver market, we're joined by Steve Saretsky, realtor at Sutton West Coast and blogger on his website, Van City Condo Guide. What has this last month been like out there, Steve?
Hey, Peter. Yeah, definitely been an extremely slow month. I've been tracking sales for quite some time now. The detached market has taken a significant punch, and the condo market and townhouse market showed some signs of obviously slowing down, but yeah, I mean, if you look at the long-term trends, comparing it back to previous August, it's about where it would normally be.
And I mean, when you look at numbers, you can crunch numbers and parse them and slice them in any different way. They talk about this benchmark figure. When you do look at the drop in the average price, though, what do you make of that, and to what do you attribute that? Yeah,
definitely. I think stats can be kind of push any way, just
Sure.
depending on who is asking, right? But what I see is the benchmark price. I mean, you keep hearing, looking at the sales are dropping, but for some odd reason, the benchmark price keeps going up. So I think the stats there are a little bit skewed in the Real Estate Board's favor. Obviously, if you're looking at the average price and even the median price, that can fluctuate on a month-to-month basis,
Sure.
just depending on obviously what kind of composition is sold that particular month.
Just for what it's worth, the benchmark excludes some of the sort of higher end stuff to try to give you a more average look at the real estate market. Have I got that right?
Yeah, I think they try to look at basically like your typical home.
Yeah.
And it basically tries to show like a long-term trend with what's happening in the market. I personally don't believe that it's a good representation of what's currently going on in the market.
What is just I asked at the top what it's been like, and you say people are it's been a wild time. What are people telling you, though? Are people reluctant to put their houses up? Are people not wanting to buy right now? Put me in the heart and mind of the average buyer or seller in Vancouver.
Yeah, definitely. Just with your average buyer right now is a little bit cautious. They've taken their foot off the pedal. I think a lot of buyers right now are actually they're stepping back and they just want to see, okay, what's going to happen. I'm encouraging a lot of my buyers to actually, let's just wait and see what happens in September. Historically is a busier month, so let's just kind of see what happens there. I think for the sellers, a lot of them too right now, we're seeing a lot of price reductions, primarily in the detached market. So as those start to sit on the market, a lot of them have actually, one of the strategies is basically taking it off the market and then relisting it in September, which is, again, supposed to be a busier month.
And is that, I mean, that's not untypical in August, though, is it? That things do slow down, people are at the cottage, they're away, they get back to school in September and life sort of resumes. Is it untypical to see that kind of activity leading up to September?
Yeah, no doubt. August is obviously typically a slower month. But if you look at it, so I mean, personally, I've looked at the Real Estate Board stats. What I actually ended up looking at more closely is the markets, the bigger markets. So,
Sure.
Vancouver, Richmond, Burnaby. What I tracked based on the sales that the Real Estate Board reports, this August was a 57% drop compared to 2015. And historically, so I just went from 2010 to 2014.
Yeah.
It gives us 5 full years of August months, and that was down about 44%. So it's
Wow.
it's not even average.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, but thanks for this. Sure appreciate it. It's still early in the game to assess what impact the foreign buyer tax may have, but according to some, governments have other options to help cool the market. Reese Kesselman is a professor at Simon Fraser University's School of Public Policy. Can we say yet, Reese, if this tax is actually working?
I would say time will tell, but certainly for August, Vancouver metro sales down a lot, particularly in the detached market. Victoria area sales up markedly, and Victoria was not covered by the new property purchase tax for foreign buyers.
You say time will tell. How much time? I mean, for an ideal, will it be a year of this tax? How long do we really need to look at it and then be able to step back and say, okay, well, here is the clear data and what they tell us about this tax's impact on the market?
Well, I think just a few more months should tell us, and whether, so well before the next provincial election next May, we should know whether further measures are appropriate, and I tend to think the answer is yes. I believe the recent measure was maybe better than nothing, but probably the provincial government felt it had to do something.
Yeah.
But it has deficiencies, lack of grandfathering, discrimination by citizenship, and also letting off the hook all the buyers who'd bought before August 2nd. So I think there are better ideas out there.
And what are they? Walk us through them.
Okay, one is something I've been advocating for a few years. It's now up on the C.D. Howe Institute website. It's a progressive property surtax. So annual tax, our property tax, would be ramped up for homes over $1 million at progressive rates. And individuals would be able to credit against that surtax the income tax they pay in Canada. So this would hit not only those foreign buyers, not all of them, but those foreign buyers who are not declaring their income in Canada, and individuals who are serial renovators who are avoiding the capital gains tax at the federal level, and those who are living in homes where their income is really out of line, their declared income, with the value of the home, including some very aggressive tax avoiders in Canada.
But even with the tax swap, proposing a new tax on homes over $1 million, your neighbors must love you.
I think there are political issues. However, a proposal similar to this coming out of UBC, my competing institution, seems to, in surveys, be getting a certain amount of popularity. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say we get that into place. Let's say you can actually trade against that at the federal level, so it does target sort of foreign homeowners in a more general way. What do you think the longer term impact that would have on the buying and selling of homes? What do you think that would eventually do?
I think it would dampen the urge to buy higher valued homes, because high income people find that is a very effective tax minimization device. We do not tax capital gains on homes if you live in them. We treat them very favorable relative to other financial investments outside of registered plans. And I think this would be wholesome for the economy, putting more of the country's savings into business and financial markets where we get productivity enhancement and employment growth.
Is Vancouver quickly becoming the petri dish of Canadian real estate market? I mean, are we trying things out there to see what will work, and will municipalities like Toronto and Montreal and Ottawa and Calgary, will they watch and have to sort of adjust with whatever it is that does sort of stick on this?
Yeah, I think some of the other big urban areas, particularly Toronto metro area, will have to watch, but not really a petri dish. Many countries have done similar or much more severe types of interventions in their housing markets. So we're not the leading edge here.
All right, so a couple of months more, we'll watch the data, and then you think we can really get a good sense of what's working and what we should do next?
Well, we'll see the impact, but doesn't necessarily mean it's the best policy. I think there are better approaches to dealing with it.
All right, good stuff. We appreciate you having on. Thanks a lot for this.
Thank you.